scrolly shutter there. But what they are going to notice, I think, they're going to notice something's not quite right, and it's going to be like there's some interference in their brain, just like with bad audio. Yeah, you lose engagement. And if you're already doing if you're already doing run and gun, you're not doing shallow focus. I'm wondering how much does it buy you to use a DSLR as opposed to using somewhat traditional video camera? I mean, it can even be one of the little cheapies or something at this point.
Yeah.
The right tool for the right
exactly.
thing.
I think that's the moral of the story.
I give you a kind of answer to that. Last night we were shooting. Yeah. We had 5 cameras in this location. The setup was going all right and everything was predicted and was perfect. We was ready to shoot. Come time shooting now, I'm running with my 1.8. We're shooting quite late at night now. They got EX1, Sony, and we got a big tripod. And we had a couple of Panasonics, like, HD handheld stuff, and 2 GoPros. During the performance, the lights went down and they were using the projector to do the illuminations, and the lead singer wasn't getting anything. Now the EX1 wasn't picking up nothing from that distance. All the other cameras didn't get nothing. I got all the best footage with this.
What lens are you using?
The 1.8 50mm.
Okay.
So there you go.
So you put some money into the glass.
Oh, you know how much the glass cost? That glass cost me £50.
$100.
Oh, for the 50. That's right. The one lens that you can buy for like nothing. That's right.
Yeah, which is great.
Good point. Okay.
There you go. So
and then you have to get reasonably close to get.
You get definitely reasonably close, but but it brings an intimate moment with the band, and it's a different kind of shooting, and it's a lot of movement. It's more interesting.
Are you doing full frame or crop?
It is crop sensor.
Okay. So then the 50 is really like a 70 or an 80 or something?
Yes, without a doubt. But to the viewer, we're talking technical jargon.
Oh yeah.
I study interaction designs, so I could talk a whole bunch of technical jargon, but we might be just really talking about playing a video game.
Oh yeah.
To the end user, that does not matter. They want to get the information or the story across to them in the clearest way, the quickest way as possible. Just like with the news now demands information much faster. It doesn't matter if it's coming from a mobile phone these days. We just want to see it. It beats the photography, and that's what the bottom line is.
Well, there are some things that are irritating. Some things that really mess you up, and other things that don't so much. Like I watched a documentary. Well, it was at Sundance. It's here also, called Senna, which is all archival, old footage, and it's kind of crappy. It's kind of low quality, but it's low quality in an analog way. It's low quality in a way that doesn't really bother you. And I don't know. I'm not saying that this is different, but I wonder whether it is or not. Because like digital noise is much less pleasant in general than analog noise.
To you?
To you, I call it film noise. That's what feel great.
That's the truth of it, is that like I also like analog noise. I like analog crackle on records, It's not an objective thing though. It's because of associations, and like you might have kids that grow up with this technology, and then we'll have new technology later. They'll be like, no, but a rolling shutter gives me that feeling of the early thousands,
That's a good question. It's a good question.
Yeah, it's a question. It's not.
Right,
I don't know the truth.
Because of course we are analog beings. In the macro world, we're analog beings, and nature is kind of analog in things. And so, is it built into us that things? I mean, when you have digital noise, you have this really high frequency noise that's very crunchy, and it may or may not be. You have to do the experiment to find out that it grates on people's nerves just physically, naturally, because it's digital.
Yeah, see, this is the thing.
Or maybe not. I don't really know. It's a good question.
Thank you. I'm going to pose that question maybe tonight. I've got to do a podcast.
What I'm interested in, what you're saying, is like I think people obsess fighting over some of the stuff a little bit. Like just the potential to do this. If you gave this technology like the auteurs in the 70s to like Coppola and Lucas and they were trying to scrape together studio money to make movies, they would take any of these cameras, you know? But, you know, and I think your point is valid that a lot of people take DSLRs as if now I'm a filmmaker and they use it for everything, things that aren't even appropriate. But like, I agree that there's something, there are people who obsess over it, right? But then there's also something subtle that's just the immersion, right? Like, I work in music video, and in the early 2000s, you know, you couldn't watch music videos on the internet because you couldn't become engaged with them. The only thing that worked on the internet was comedy, because it's like, in under 2 minutes, you don't need high visual quality to make somebody laugh. You can't watch a Kubrick film on the internet because it's gotta like, you know, at that time, you know, it's getting closer and closer. And I don't know what that is that enables you to become immersed in something, you know?
Have you tried to watch a Kubrick film on the internet?
I have. I mean, I enjoy it.
Because I don't actually agree that you can't. Because I think as long as you have the audio for a cinematic film,
yeah,
you can be looking at a postage stamp, and if you've got the audio experience, the full audio experience, you're going to be immersed.
Yeah.
But that's where you have that rich audio experience, and when we're talking about the more DIY stuff, the stuff where people mostly, at least, aren't going to go and produce that rich audio.
Yeah, they very much forget that. Unfortunately, even when you do it, a lot of times they listen to it with little laptop speakers, you know. But
true.
Even then, it works.
It's true.
Amazing. It's like
there is a big difference.
I use Kubrick not for like take like 2001 or The Shining. You know, he really enables this like where you're just immersed in a visual experience. Like think about when he's trying to turn off Hal, and it's like this. That's a great. The audio there is phenomenal,
right.
But also you're just staring at it.
Turn off the audio. It won't work.
Oh, don't tell me that, because remember, 2001.
Yes.
The first 10 minutes, there is no audio.
And that is striking.
Yeah, and that's part of
it is
that
very
makes
striking.
the audio when it comes
in, it definitely.
And there's a big difference between no audio and bad
audio.
So
I agree.
You can also watch the last 20 minutes of Pink Floyd's Echoes. It's true.
Another thing is, I tell you where it's being proved and tested right now. I mean, a month or two ago, I was in the Apple store in London, and Danny Boyle was doing his talk on his new film at that time, 127 hours.
Yes, Danny Boyle. Right now, Danny Boyle can do no wrong.
There you go. Now I asked the man personally, and you know, I said to him, "What do you think about these digital DSLRs? You know, I'm trying to push this like big time. I've been on this from day one." Yeah, I mean, I've been watching, you know, I'm Gorilla, so I've been watching the Reds, you know, the Red cams from day one when they were meant to bring them out and they didn't bring them out, and then the 550 came out and I jumped on it. You know, Red kind of let the film industry down. I say it slowed it down by not bringing out the new camera. Now they come with their fixed lens camera, and then
which is this that you're shooting on?
This is the 550D. This Rebel TI. This is I called the Red Cam. The small one, the 2K what they were bringing out. I think this was the Red Cam 2K killer. This machine, because of the price and the quality and its functionality, which none of them on the market at that time, or even maybe to this date, could really challenge the 550D, especially with the mic input feature, stereo recording and so forth, and 1080p, also 25, 50 frames and so forth. Now, Danny Boyle used the 5D. Obviously, the 5D's full frame. That's the next step. That's the best way to go. He used the 5D in one of the best shots of the film. That shot, what was almost like an infinite shot, where it panned back forever. It was a series of photographs with the 5D and video. You know, and he embraces it. I went to the broadcast show in Old School. I go there every year. And when he was doing his film, what's it called? The one in India, Slumdog Millionaire. They had the camera there, what he used, and you know, I was investigating cameras and stuff like that. The camera used, it's a very discreet one. It goes in a backpack, and it's just got that eye in the head, and you can run around and you can get all those intimate shots, which gives that different feel to the real feel to the show, you know, not eyes looking at the camera seeing it coming,
right.
Real reactions. And this is how he works. He pushes the boundaries to try and use things which will work not going to just stick to, you know, okay, there's this
That camera
big
that
seller.
you used, did it have a rolling shutter? And I know it sounds like I'm really harping on it.
Hell no, but the 5D had a rolling shutter, but it's the way you used it.
Yes.
You know, obviously.
You had a very controlled shot there, and as long as you're not shaking around,
Yeah.
it's exquisite.
Yeah, but you know what? There's already plugins to already solve rolling shutter problems. Sort of. Obviously, they won't be perfect, but it's not really some. I think everybody who's got a digital DSLR is aware of the rolling shutter. So
Yes.
we tend to,
They're aware. I don't know if they're.
Some people
you
are
need to do
willing
some,
to accept
You need to do some tests in order to find out how much that particular kind of cognitive dissonance in your head of seeing some little piece of somebody actually, like the little bits of the face that just move a little bit, a couple of pixels over, how much that actually affects somebody's emotional takeaway. I don't know.
Excellent
the
question.
general audience too, because we lose it. Once you've stared at it too many times, you can't sense anymore what's what. You know, I see picture noise and I see these things in a totally different way. I would love to do experimental, like, objective testing, you know? I think it would be the only way to do it with random people, but there's no clear way to do it. You kind of, I mean, I think, I gotta run in a sec, but, I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly in the potentials of, like, run and gun realism, you know? And I think that the thing to do with these is to push that further. What can you do with these you can't do